When people hear the word monsoon, they typically think that it's a type of storm, but it's not. It's actually a season, and there's no better place in the world to experience the rainy season than here in India.
I'm going to experience the monsoon rains in one of the wettest and wildest places I've ever seen.
Oh, look at that.
India is a dynamic and fascinating country to explore. Its unique spirituality, cuisine, and geography make it an attractive destination for the adventurous. But for a storm chaser, there's a particular allure. India is one of the regions of the world that experience monsoon, a season of intense rainfall. The monsoon rains of India cause everything from minor inconvenience to major disaster. It is celebrated and endured as part of life here. I've come to see how the people of India, who sometimes have little or no resources, cope with these overwhelming downpours.
The plan is, see, this is Guwahati. We'll stay somewhere here. Now all this area is flooded.
Right.
We'll spend the night here.
My guide for this journey is Indian filmmaker Kartikeya Singh.
You're seeing Ginja, Gopur.
Yeah. Hopefully this road is not underwater.
His job is to keep me in one piece in this often chaotic country.
First day here, and I'm already liking this place quite a bit.
Today is a rare, dry day in New Delhi.
It did rain in Delhi a few days back.
Yeah, I heard it was the earliest the monsoon had arrived in New Delhi in 108 years. There are different monsoons in different parts of the world. This is the biggest, the most well-known one. It's a phenomenon that happens all over the world, but it's not very well understood.
Here in India, they don't get your typical summer showers. A monsoon downpour can dump more than 100 millimeters of rain in just a few hours, enough to shut down an entire city. But these massive storms have eluded me so far, so it's time to try a different strategy.
One thing I find interesting is that the rain is not continuous. It comes and goes in these showers and these huge downpours. Looks like we have another one coming along the way, but I want to make sure that the rains come. And around here, that can mean only one thing. Let's go. I think if we want the big rains, it's time for a little divine intervention.
It's common here to pray for rain and to celebrate the arrival of monsoon.
You break your coconut here.
Okay.
Can you put the coconut water on the Nandi bull? It's the Nandi bull.
Time to make a little offering to the deities. Bring me some rain.
I'm learning the centuries-old tradition of Hindu prayer.
You have good enough karma, the rains will come.
And they have, in a big way.
You hear that? That sound can only mean one thing. the monsoon has arrived. Okay, my location right now is northeastern India. The towns here see more rain in a month than some places see in an entire year. The monsoon this year has come early, the earliest in 108 years of record keeping in New Delhi. So this gives you an idea of the potency of this rain. Tomorrow, I'm gonna leave this jungle camp and head out and see what the rain has done to the local villages.
That is, if my tent doesn't float away in the night. I'm traveling in northeast India, examining the effects of the massive rainfall that occurs during monsoon. Although the standing water is essential to the rice farmers, it contaminates wells and can create a major health risk.
This is not the best water to be walking in.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest reasons for waterborne diseases in India.
Yes.
The monsoon flooding,
Yeah, it just
those
sits here,
stagnant
so-
water,
yeah.
yes.
It's just amazing the way that people cope with the different weather in their different part of the world. And here, obviously, it's rain and flooding.
And
it's
they're
just
creative about it.
they have to be creative because they don't have a whole lot of choice. But it's amazing the way they just persevere.
As if on cue, it starts raining. Again.
We're 118 kilometers from Lakhimpur,
Yes.
but before we reach Lakhimpur, the bridge is washed away.
Okay.
So he's saying that a car cannot take the bridge. It will have to be mounted on these big rafts to be taken through.
So it should take about 2.5 hours, depending how many cows are in the road.
Yes, that's right. Cows. Here in India, cattle are considered sacred and are allowed to go anywhere they please, including the middle of the road.
Part of the reason why there's so many cows on the road is that during the rainy season, the cows don't like to walk in deep water like the buffaloes do. And what they'll do is come onto the road and create total traffic chaos.
As Kartikeya and I travel farther into the Assam region, we see that flooding is causing serious problems.
Okay, George, the bridge is broken and we'll have to walk off from here. We'll have to park our car here as we can't go ahead. It's completely smashed down. And as you can see, all the people are returning. So let's take a walk down there and see what's happening.
In many outlying areas, bridges are inadequate to withstand the torrent of water that monsoon rains create. So there's a constant battle to repair these vital crossings under difficult and often dangerous conditions.
About a week ago, heavy monsoon rains flooded this area completely and destroyed this bridge. Now, there's a flurry of activity right now. People are repairing this bridge, putting in a temporary crossing, but until it's repaired, they're taking cars across one at a time by boat.
And, like many things in India, it's pandemonium.
They have to put these cement pipes through because they need to let some of the water pass through, or else this temporary bridge will just become a dam and then the whole place will flood out again. So this rickety bamboo bridge is the temporary footbridge that they put in around the broken section of the auto bridge. At least people can get across by foot.
While monsoon brings its share of pain to India, it's also a time of celebration. And one thing that I've learned on this journey is people in this country really know how to throw a party. India's spiritual and cultural history is celebrated with many elaborate festivals, like this one in Puri. They are feasts of color and spectacle. But beware, this is not for the claustrophobic.
This is the overwhelming festival known as the Jagannath Rath Yatra. Now, what they're going to do is they have these 3 huge chariots that they're going to pull down the road here by the devotees through the streets. And it simulates when Lord Jagannath left the temple because it was too hot. He brought his brother and his sister with him, and he went out for 7 days. It's going to be absolutely insane. This is one of the biggest Hindu celebrations of the year. It's totally insane. There's hundreds of thousands of people possibly. I have no idea.
As the crowd anxiously awaits, the huge idols are carried from the temple to the chariots.
So pretty soon they're going to start pulling these chariots all the way down the road. I don't know how they're going to do it with all these people here.
Incredibly, the devotees are able to pull the giant chariots, called raths, with dozens of people riding on them. As the procession begins, people scramble to take a turn pulling one of the ropes, which is considered a pious act.
Big push of people coming.
The crowd is getting dangerously big, so as the rain starts to fall, Kartikeya and I move to higher ground.
This festival is pretty wild from the ground, but to fully appreciate just how big it is, you have to get up above it and see the sea of humanity.
It's hard to believe that, due to a washed-out train bridge, this is only half the normal turnout for this festival. As the procession reaches a fevered pitch, the surging crowd begins to trample several people, unable to escape the crush of bodies. The crowd is dispersed by police and soldiers as dozens of victims are taken to hospital. Sadly, 6 people died in the accident. A tragic end to an otherwise remarkable celebration.
Right now, we're headed for Dudhsaga Falls. It's the second highest waterfall in all of India. The water flows over the Deccan Plateau, falls 600 meters, and then eventually flows out to sea.
But something tells me it's not going to be that easy to get to.
Doesn't look too promising. Yeah, we have a problem. There's no way we're getting the car across that.
That's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water. During the dry season, this road would just be normally passable. There might be a trickle of water across
Just
it.
a trickle, maybe just half a feet,
Yeah.
6 to 8 inches of water.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay, well, this is not gonna work. Time to find some alternate plans.
But just as we're about to turn back, we notice someone is trapped, swept down by the fast-moving floodwater into some trees by the rapids. His friends go out to help, but are soon in trouble themselves.
Run.
Kartikeya decides to join the rescue. And finally, they're able to muscle the exhausted swimmer from the water.
So what just happened?
This guy is a non-swimmer. He just sort of got stuck in the current there. That's it.
Eventually he would have ran out of strength and got washed down the river.
Absolutely.
I mean, what if you'd been swept down?
I know.
You know? I mean, that was totally a possibility. We just had a situation that was potentially very serious. The water in this river, just beyond where I'm standing, is very swift. And this one gentleman was out there and he was pinned between the water and a set of trees, and he almost got washed downstream through the rapids. And I was here just watching it, caught it with the video camera. Wild.
With the boy now safe, we turn our attention back to getting to the falls.
The car was insufficient, so now it's time for a different mode of transportation.
We need to go along the railway track to the Dudhsagar Falls. It's going to be a little longer detour and an unsafe one because we have a fast train hurtling at us.
So now, instead of drowning in a river, we run the risk of getting hit by an oncoming train.
Absolutely.
All right, just another day at the office.
This looks like it'll work. But as is usually the case with me, there's always a potential for a bump or two in the road.
Oh! Crunch!
I guess we'll just hike it the rest of the way.
Well, the 410 should be rolling through any minute. Okay, so after the flooded road and after the insane motorcycle trip, now begins the 45-minute walk. Right up there is the spot where I'm gonna go to the train bridge. Just follow the tracks all the way up. Train's coming. There it is, the Dudhsagar Falls, 600 meters from top to bottom. It's pouring rain right now, so I figure I'm wet enough. I might as well get right up to the train bridge and get as close as I can to it.
The view under the falls is outstanding.
This water level mark,
Is this a high water mark?
this is the high water mark. You can imagine how much more water. All this becomes like a pool. You see, that's the high water level mark.
A lot of water coming through here. It's an amazing country you've got here.
Yes, India never disappoints.
That is a whole pile of nature's fury. Visiting this spot was fantastic, but it's going to be getting dark soon, and it's still a long way back. I knew this might happen. I got leached. We picked up a little bundle of salt earlier today from the locals because we knew that this might be a possibility. Oh, look at that. There, they just both let go.
Now it's time to head into the city and see how the flooding affects the 18 million people of Bombay. I've come to India to experience the incredible rains of Monsoon.
Now that the rain's really coming down, I want to get into a more urban area, so I'm going to head into Bombay and see how this rain is affecting the city.
During monsoon, Mumbai regularly gets pummeled with an extraordinary amount of rain. But coupled with today's unusually high tide, the floodwater can't drain.
We got a bit of a situation going on here in Mumbai. 111 millimeters of rain fell last night, and it's still coming down now. Parts of the city are completely shut down. There's flooding everywhere. The trains have been delayed. They're telling people to stay at home, don't go to their offices.
All the low-lying areas of Bombay, like Dadar and all, have been completely flooded. They're telling that water should start receding after 11 o'clock, but you can never be sure. With the kind of rain that's pouring right now, I don't see that happening at all.
I'm in serious floodwaters here. Mumbai is coming to a standstill.
The rivers of water in the streets have made walking very hazardous.
Now, because the floodwaters are so dark, you can't see the ground, but there's obvious evidence here of the floodwater pumping up the manhole covers. Now, that leaves these open pits that you could fall into, so you have to be very, very careful when walking around in a flood situation. Another thing is that it's not just water coming out of the sewer.
If the open sewers don't get me, the crazy drivers might.
Wow! Hey, easy! That guy just almost mowed down this group of 4 or 5 people. They lose their mind in the rainy season. Well, I came to India to find a dramatic example of the monsoon rainy season. I think I found it. Yeah, there we go. Hey!
Every year, intense monsoon rain sweeps across India. Although sometimes dangerous and often destructive, the water that flows here is a vital part of this extraordinary country.